Hello everyone and welcome to your 30-minute Pilates class with me, April. I hope you're all doing well today. All you'll need for today's class is a mat, always a cushion to make sure your neck is aligned with your spine, and a little bit of space so we can move. We don't need tons and tons of space, so don't worry if you're somewhere small, it's no problem whatsoever. As always, please be very careful with some of the exercises that we perform today. We don't want any pre-existing injuries getting any worse or pulling of any muscles. So some exercises you may feel like a slight pull, that's normal, but you don't never push yourself to the point of pain ever. So we'll work on our posture today, as it's such a huge thing and it can really help us with our day-to-day life, especially when we're reaching up to a tall cupboard or painting, decorating, cleaning, whatever. It can really help to make sure that your spine is exactly where it should be. So a few tips on what changes the shape of your spine is when we sleep. You'll 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, every time you get in bed, you'll wake up and fall asleep in the same position every night. The way you sit on the sofa, the way you sit down at a chair, however you lay down, it will always, your muscles have memory, so you'll always probably put maybe one leg over the other in a certain position, or cross your ankles, or sit with one hip tilted up. It is amazing how it changes. I do it all the time. Every time I sit down, my right leg goes really far over my left, and when I lay in bed, I lay flat on my front and I turn my head, and that is terrible for your neck and your facial symmetry. So these things will really help to just realign and relax your muscles. That's the most important thing. We need to relax a little bit more in life. So with a nice tall spine, we're going to drop the shoulders down and away from our necks. Now the shoulders are probably one of the hardest parts of the body to train, because obviously we use our arms so much and our shoulders will naturally rise up. But just try and remember, we push the shoulders down away from the ear. So from the lobe of your ear all the way to the top of your shoulder, that's the space we want to create. That nice open space. And these are your trapezius muscles here. So if they get tense and tight, that causes a lot of issues as well within the neck. So drop the shoulders down and away. And we're going to place the wrists onto the knees. And all I want you to do first of all is just to push over to the left and the right. Just a little bit, just to open up the sides of the body. Nothing too much. And then relax. And then we're going to round through the spine, create a C shape, and we're going to round through, come in, and then sit up tall. And again, that's just to help us release a bit of tension, maybe in that lower back that builds up. And then the other way. And release. Wonderful. Now keeping the wrists onto the knees like so, we're going to inhale, lift the shoulders up into the ears, and then exhale, push the elbows down into the thighs. We lift up, and we lower, and we lift, and we lower, and lift, and lower. Good. And then lift the shoulders up, roll them forwards. Now, this is where, if you have any imbalances within the body, you're going to feel a lot of tension, especially when you push down. One shoulder always sits higher than the other, so you might feel like one is getting a good stretch and the other one doesn't feel like it's doing much. Good, and release. And now take the left hand onto the right knee, right hand behind, twist and look over the right shoulder. And then come in. Top shoulders, right hand on left knee, left hand behind, look over left shoulder. And then come back in. Now I'm going to just turn to the side so you can see my back. So we're nice and tall, and actually whilst we're here we're going to cross the ankles over as well. That will really help. So drop the shoulders down, round through that spine. Now as you can see, my spine is hunching over. That is to release the tension. And lift up. Inhale. And exhale. And lift. Breathe in. And out. And now just stay and hold it here. Now drop those shoulders around a little bit more. You might feel this right at the top of the neck. You might find it in the middle of the spine. Just relax and release of that pressure. And lift up. Good. And then have the feet as wide as the mat. Sink back so not back is nice and straight. And just move the knees side to side. This is just to help relax, release the tension in the top of the back and the middle of the spine into now that lower back and those hips, because believe it or not, your posture will, the lower part of your body will affect your posture. It's very weird. The body's so connected. I remember once I saw a chiropractor who said I had a tight jaw because I had tight ankles, because it just travelled all the way up the body. Good. And now going to come to lay down. Back the knees in towards the chest and rock side to side. Relax. Now drop these shoulders. And just take the legs out nice and long. Now when we're here, you can just give the hips a little bit of a wiggle side to side. So relax down, hands are down, and then just lift up. And then try and imagine that at the end of your mat, you've got equal space between the right side of the mat and the right foot, and then the left side of the mat and the left foot. And when we do this, it's just really nice to see how our bodies look on the mat, because it's really hard. Fortunately, we haven't got eyes in the ceiling to look down at our bodies and see if we're straight. So I appreciate that. It's quite difficult. So by using the mat as a guide, you'll be able to get a little gist of how you're laying. So once we've sorted the feet out and the shins, let's come up. And then either side of the mat, if you take your thumb by your hips and then take your little fingers and try and stretch them towards the mat, and you look down, you'll probably see that you've got about the same side each side of the hands there. And then with the neck. Now the neck and the spine is the most important thing. That's why we always use a pillow in Pilates, to make sure our neck is aligned with the spine. And we want to make sure that our head is relaxed into the middle of the pillow, and we're just dropping those shoulders down and away. The hands come down to the sides of the body, And we breathe in and we breathe out. We stretch our fingertips towards the toes. We just inhale and exhale. And release. And just see how it feels within your neck. If you feel that this feels so good and you could do it all day, it's probably because you need to try and do it as much as you can to really relax the top of the shoulders. And release. Inhale. Exhale. We'll just do a couple more. And relax. And one more. Inhale. Exhale. Reach for the toes. Think of your posture. Think of your spine. Nice and long. The arms are nice and long. And release. And then right foot on the left thigh. Rock over to the left side and the right arm goes out long. And hold there. And this should feel lovely, all down your right side, all into the hip and all into the knee. Try and keep that right arm dropping down so it's nowhere near your neck. And hold it here for another 5 breaths. And then gently relax, come back. So when we bring this foot back, we need to make sure that we're nice and aligned, our hips are aligned, excuse me, and we're dropping the shoulders down and away. Just give yourself a second here, hands are here at the sides, checking in on that posture. Left foot comes onto the right thigh, right hand onto the left knee, left arm goes out, but not up and out, just out slightly, and then pull it over. Breathing in and out. Three more deep breaths in and out. Wonderful. Come and lay back. Feet are hip width. Realign that pelvis and just take the hands underneath the knees. Hold it there. And now we're going to come and stretch those legs out. Take the hands behind you and just push back. And now we're going to work into the spine and the backs of the legs. So this is really, really handy. If you film yourself ever doing this, or if you've got a mirror and you've got the space, just take a look at your posture. So right now I can see myself obviously into the camera as I'm filming, but my spine is nice and straight. Sometimes we think our spine is straight, but actually when we're maybe rounding down or we're leaning the back a bit too much. So first things first, let's work on the bottom part of our bodies here. So the feet are hip width, our toes are relaxed, the hands are onto the thighs, and just roll down. Not much effort into this. Drop the shoulders, eyes looking at the thighs, Just hold here. And lift up. Okay, so when we sit up like this, our back has to work a little bit more, obviously, as well within the hamstrings. So we're going to feel like there's tension already building, and it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, okay? Because as soon as you have a nice tall spine, your body's like, oh, we don't normally sit like this. We normally sit like this. And that's the difference. So we have to really train our bodies. It takes time. Even sometimes I catch myself and I'm hunched over, and I say, no, Mrs. Pilates teacher, you need to stop. So how this will help is if you need to tuck your sitting bones under. So the hands come out to the side and you push, and then like you really make sure you're sat onto your glutes, and this will automatically help you, okay? So the spine is tall, our shoulders are down, and you're going to just gently flex through those toes. So the toes are facing up towards the ceiling. Hands are onto the thighs, breathe in, and we're just taking 5 deep breaths in and out here, okay? So you can close your eyes and breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And in and out. And again, in and out. Now just relax. I guarantee you somewhere your spine would have hunched over and sort of try to relax a little bit. So now just sit up really tall and notice the difference. And you might be feeling this as well in the tops of the thighs. That's really normal. So take the hands to the thighs, drop the shoulders, nod the chin. And now we're going to relax and let that area breathe. So you can relax the toes, relax the feet. Eyes looking at the thighs, and breathe in and out. Inhale. And then exhale, go a little bit deeper. Just take the hands down a little bit more if you can and feel that spine relax. Because although we work our spine, we're working on our posture, we need to release the tension in between all the vertebrae and all the muscles in your back. And of course the spine, because if we didn't have a spine, we wouldn't be sitting up straight at all. And lift up. Good. Let's cross the feet over and we'll come into a child's pose. So walk those knees back, take your forehead on the pillow or your block or whatever you've got, and you're going to stretch the fingertips out to the top, and then forehead can come down. Just extend that spine nice and long. Again, this is stretching out and really working into our posture. And then come up. Come into an all fours position. So drop the shoulders down away from your ears. Drop the shoulders down, relax the toes, and then nod round. And then uncurl. Again, releasing the tension in the spine. And uncurl. And then last one. And then when you're rounding through, just bring the hands a bit closer to you. Push in and release. Really stretch. And uncurl. And now we're coming onto our knees. And we're just going to open up and release the chest. Now, believe it or not, the chest doesn't get much exercise, and we don't really stretch our chest because it's mainly our back that does a lot of the work. And when you have opposing parts of the body that don't get work, this is where issues and imbalances can really be created just naturally in everyday life. So we're going to stretch out our chest. First things first, take your hands behind your lower back. Now drop your shoulders, because your shoulders will probably want to rise up like this. We really want to push them down. And relax the neck, and then press the elbows together. Relax the toes. Breathe in and out. And then release the arms. And just get nice and long, nice and relaxed. Let's do it again. Hands underneath your belly button on that lower back. Inhale, exhale, press. Drop the shoulders. And release. Okay, so now take the hands behind the lower back, clasp the hands together, and then have your fingers here together. So we're pressing and pointing away. Excuse me, I've got a terrible cold. So inhale, and then relax the feet, have the knees hip width apart. Breathe in and then breathe out. Straighten those arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, drop the shoulders. And release. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Doesn't matter if your arms aren't that straight, that's no problem. It's just you're opening up and squeezing the shoulder blades together. And release. Good, now just stretch those arms back and forth. Good. Now clasp your hands together, and we're going to sort of cat-cow, but we're going to have the space in between the hands and the knees very, very close. So you're going to target the upper back and the middle part of your back, and that area is called the rhomboids, and when they get very tight, that causes a lot of imbalances right at the base of the neck going into the head. So we're going to stretch that out now, which will help with your posture, of course. So hands together like this. Hands are here. Inhale and exhale, nod your chin and really push the fingers in. Drop that chin right under. Feel that stretch at the top of the neck. And release, come back up. Inhale. Exhale, nod. And release. Breathe in. And out one more time. And release. Wonderful. Okay, last little one on our knees now. Going to have your arms like this. So your elbows in line with your shoulder and your wrist is in line with your elbow. Drop the shoulders down and around and breathe in, and you're going to twist from your waist, not from your hips. So imagine that your hips are like headlights going straight forward and they can't turn. Okay, so we're here. Drop the shoulders. Now relax the fingertips and just twist round and come in. So anytime we twist from the waist is very healthy for our spine, and obviously that's going to encourage us to have good posture. Try and keep the elbows in alignment with each other. Good. Let's do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. And just swing those arms back and forth. Wonderful. And now come and lay down. We'll finish off the last couple of minutes just laying, because when we relax the body and we relax our mind, those two work very well together. So drop the shoulders down and away, fingertips relax, relax the toes. Inhale, exhale. Drop the shoulders, relax everything. And then inhale, exhale, stretch out nice and long, push through those heels. Of course, if you wish to stay here for a little bit longer, you can. And gently lift and roll off. Now going back to our posture and our nice tall spine. Drop the shoulders down and away. And inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Now with a nice tall spine, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Remember, always keep your shoulders down. You can come back to this video anytime you wish and just practice, and it will really, really help, I promise. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.